The CCJ hearing a free movement dispute case, and in sport, Jonathan Carter to lead Barbados Pride in the upcoming Regional Super 50. I'm Dawn Paris and this is Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Discovered evidence of the first light from some of the first stars among the farthest and oldest physical objects in the universe. Using a simple radio antenna and a great deal of careful measurement, they have effectively seen farther back than even the Hubble Space Telescope. These stars emerged from the smoldering embers of the Big Bang. They lit the sky for the first time, and the early cosmos began to transform from an era of pitch black.
Maria weakened slightly after crossing Dominica, but soon achieved its peak intensity over the eastern Caribbean. Maximum sustained winds of 175 miles per hour, making it the 10th most intense Atlantic hurricane on record.
I lose 2 girls in the hurricane.
From here?
Yeah, right here. My first daughter died right here. The river came down and we had a shock here.
The Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, has begun hearing arguments in a case brought before it to advise whether individual CARICOM countries can legally refuse to accept certain categories of workers under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. This after 2 member states opted out of the agreement that allows the entry of agricultural workers and security guards. We get more in this report from Newsroom Guyana.
The question of free movement has long been a contentious one in the 15-nation Caribbean community, CARICOM. The heads of government have twice agreed to grant countries an opt-out to say that they will not accept certain categories of workers, the latest being Antigua and St. Kitts, who have opted out of a decision to allow the free movement of agriculture workers and security guards. The 2 countries were granted a 5-year waiver. Now, CARICOM wants to know if its decisions to grant opt-outs is legal under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, the legal instrument which governs how CARICOM functions. It has asked the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, to decide. A contentious question that the CCJ has also been asked to decide on is whether the countries which are granted an opt-out automatically deny the citizens of their countries the right to move and work and benefit from the very decisions. In arguments before the CCJ on Tuesday, Dr. Vanessa Moe, the Crown Solicitor at the island's Minister of Legal Affairs, said that Antigua, a less developed state within CARICOM, requested an opt-out because of socio-economic reasons, and she went further in stating that Antigua did not expect to have its nationals who are agri-workers and security guards to have the right, therefore, to travel and work freely in other member states.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, OWTU, is warning the opposition it will pay the political price for trying to block the sale of the former state-owned oil refinery to a company owned by the union. The warning comes on the heels of former United National Congress UNC Senator Wayne Sturge filing an application on behalf of the opposition for an injunction to prevent the sale of the Petrotrin refinery at Pointe-à-Pierre to Patriotic Energies and Technologies Company Limited, which is wholly owned by the OWTU. The union's President General Ansel Roger says while the opposition may feel they can get political advancement out of Petrotrin's closure, this latest move will instead seal their fate.
There's a high political price to pay for this, and we are going to ensure that anybody who prevents us from going back to work, they will pay that political price.
OWTU President Ansel Roger says the recent court action by Wayne Sturge is part of a bigger UNC plan to return to government, starting with allegations made in Parliament last week and then this week's injunction application. Roger says the UNC never expected or wanted the OWTU to win the refinery bid and so resorted to hatching plans to spook investors and scuttle the deal.
So they now are going to get an injunction to prevent it from restarting. If they so care about the Petrotrin workers and the people in the South, why did they go to the court and get an injunction to prevent it from shutting down?
He says the UNC has always seen the fallout with Petrotrin's closure as a gold spoon, a way back into office. But he adds the union will not back down in its fight to acquire the refinery assets and restore jobs and economic growth.
Ghana's President David Granger returned home last night following his latest medical evaluation in Cuba, where his team of experts found that he no longer has any trace of cancer. According to a statement from the Ghana Embassy in Cuba, the medical specialists who treated the president expressed complete satisfaction with the state of his health and said his cancer is now in remission. Granger had been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a type of blood cancer, last November, and began treatment almost immediately in Cuba. The president is expected to return to Cuba for another scheduled routine medical check in January 2020 and then later that year again in June. Stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. West Indies left-hander Jonathan Carter has been named to lead Barbados Pride in the upcoming regional Super 50 tournament. The 14-man squad also includes all-rounder Kyle Mayers, who last turned out for his native Barbados 7 years ago. Mayers had spent the last several seasons representing Windward Islands Volcanoes. 31-year-old left-hander Carter has taken over leadership of the unit in the absence of the West Indies senior players who are set to leave the Caribbean later this month for limited overs series against Afghanistan and India. He's the most experienced player in an otherwise inexperienced squad, having played 117 List A matches, and is just one of 3 players to have represented West Indies, the others being off-spinner Ashley Nurse and fast bowler Miguel Cummings. Trinidad and Tobago's queen of cycling, Tennille Campbell, has become the first female cyclist from the Twin Island Republic to qualify for the Olympics, and she's looking forward to her historic participation in the women's road race at the Summer Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. TV6's Sergio Defour reports.
The 22-year-old loves to compete amongst the best and is looking forward to the new year where her biggest challenge on the world stage awaits.
Yes, I qualified. It's a high achievement. It was one of my main goals, and I'm happy to have hit that target. I don't know how to feel, really. I guess when I arrive to Tokyo, I will have like a stronger feeling and emotions towards that accomplishment.
Now that she's going where no woman in TNT's cycling history has gone before, Campbell is not putting much pressure on herself to perform. However, she wants to win a medal.
I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself. I will try not to put a lot of pressure on myself because I know everyone who knows me knows how I think. And yeah, when my bike is on that line, then we'll see what happens.
For her manager, Desmond Roberts, it's a plan that's been coming to life after he felt competing locally and regionally was not enough for her.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 this evening for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.